Okay, we'll pick up here with elasticity of demand, and what this is going to look like is how insulated is a product from large swings in demand. All right, so you have to ask yourself as you think about these things, are these products that we can live without, or the things we have to have for life, and how well is this product insulated from price change? So what that means is if the price increases, will the demand not change? And if that happens, then it's considered inelastic. Okay. So as we go through, the two terms you need to know are elastic and inelastic. Okay. An elastic good down here talks about something that is very sensitive to price change. So if the cost of this product goes up, less people will consume it. Think about the idea we talked about last week of why are cigarettes and other things that are deemed inessentials so expensive? Well, because they're elastic goods, and the idea is you're legislating policy. So if the price of those goods go up, less people will have it, and if less people smoke, more will be healthy, basically. If a good is inelastic, what that means is that it is not sensitive to change. So regardless of price, if the price goes up, okay, demand will remain the same. Okay, demand will be even. Here, if the price goes up, demand will go down rapidly. So if a good's inelastic, regardless of the price, people will consume it. If it's elastic, people will stop consuming it as the price goes up, or they'll consume less. Okay. You look at the demand curve. Now, this is important. Elasticity is found in the curve, not in the shift. I'll explain what that means here in a second. But when you look at a good, you could tell elastic or inelastic based on the curve, not the shift. We'll look at these numbers, and I'll show you in a second what they mean. But if something is less than 1, using a formula that I'll show you, it's considered to be inelastic. If something has a elasticity of more than 1, it's considered elastic, and the higher the number, the more elastic it'll be. We'll do a thing in class that'll illustrate this point well. Okay, so the question then becomes, why are some things inelastic and why are some things elastic? Well, if you don't have a viable substitute, if you don't have something that can replace it, think about electricity. It's not like you can just make some. Okay, it's inelastic. We need that to function in our present society. The other reason why is basically the relative importance of that good to the consumers. So if it's more important, more than likely it's going to be inelastic. If it's less important, like snap bracelets, maybe it's going to be much, much more elastic. Okay, you also have to determine, what's luxury and what's a necessity. Everybody needs a vehicle. Kind of. I mean, I would argue that vehicles are very much elastic goods, but the type of vehicle you purchase really shows the elasticity of it. I mean, everybody would like to drive a souped up F-250, but, we're sitting around driving Accords because that's what you can afford. Okay. The other thing that looks at elasticity of a good is how much that good or the price is going to change over time or change in time. Okay, so companies now and governments, why is it a good idea to know if something's elastic or inelastic? Because it affects the bottom line. It affects the company's total revenue, and for governments, this is tax collection. Okay, so revenue again is the amount of money somebody gets by selling something. So if a good is inelastic, they can pretty much figure out that what people are going to buy this regardless. If it's highly elastic, they're going to have many more problems with changes in demand. Okay, so think of it this way, and we'll do a little graph of this in class, but looking at total revenue. If you sold 125 pieces of pizza a day at $2, what's your total revenue? So how much money you're getting? So let's see. 125. Oops. 125 times $2. What are we getting? $250. Oh, that's a lot of math. 250. Okay. If the price went up to $2.50, how many would you have to sell to make that same profit? Well, 100. Okay, pizza's elastic. Does that make sense? I hope so. So 125 pieces of pizza at $2 a slice, your total revenue is $250. If you charge $2.50 instead of $2, you'd be selling 100. Okay, so your quantity changes and the amount demanded changes as well. It's elastic. Okay, again now, because of the law of demand and how all this stuff works, the elasticity of goods and goods produces will affect the company's total revenue. Okay. Again, something's elastic if, when the price is lowered, revenue increases. Meaning, the price goes down, revenue increases because demand increases. If something is inelastic, as the price is lowered, the total revenue decreases because demand hasn't changed. Okay. Does that make sense? So you're selling snap bracelets for $1, and then you cut that down to 75 cents. You're going to make more money because you're going to sell more snap bracelets. Electricity, the price of electricity is lowered. That doesn't mean that the electric company is going to make more money because, simply put, the same people are consuming, and your demand remains relatively constant. Okay. All right, we'll stop here and talk about supply next time.